right, House of Payne fans. Yes, I know I'm a couple weeks late, but yeah, let's go ahead and talk about episodes 5 and 6 now. I think I mentioned this a couple times where if I watched the House of Pain show live and did a live stream or whatever, I feel like I'm going to have more to say when I do these kind of break off discussion videos in a live stream or whatever, as opposed to reviews, because it goes about saying by this point, the show isn't that good. There are only maybe a couple of scenes in each episode, or should I just say a couple of scenes on any given Wednesday night, since they show 2 episodes a night, but only a couple of scenes are actually relevant. The rest is just the characters standing around reciting dialogue in circles with each other. But in this video, I'm going to be covering my thoughts on episode 5, Women of Today, and episode 6, Parenting 101. Both episodes aired September 16th, which was almost 2 weeks ago. So without further ado, make sure you like the video. Let's try to get to 30 likes. Hit subscribe so one day we can hit 1 million subscribers. Hit the bell icon and select all. That way you don't miss out whenever I post content. And social media links are in the description below. On my to-do list, I was going to make groups, Facebook groups for Bruh, House of Pain, Assisted Living, and Ruthless. I'm not saying I won't. I probably will, since this week is going to be a bit chill because there's no have and have nots due to the presidential debate on Tuesday. So House of Pain, Assisted Living Wednesday, Bruh Thursday, and I did a crap ton of eBay listing on Sunday, which was yesterday. So I'll probably do a lot of to-do list stuff this week on the side. So yeah, you all know I'll let you know once the groups are made. It won't take me more than like 15-20 minutes tops, but yeah. But for this particular video, I did watch episode 5, and I made a post on the community tab. I want to say sometime yesterday or on Saturday, and I said I have no idea why people wanted me to watch that video, because of the fact that wait, did I even watch episode 6? Which one was that? Wait, Lisa and Malik disagree about relationship roles. CJ teaches them a lesson, and to Malik's surprise, get him a job. I feel like I missed that episode because I definitely don't. Wait, I don't think I watched it. I watched episode 5, Women of Today. What episode was it where Miranda came and talked with Janine? That was episode 6, right? Yeah, because Miranda came in, talked with Janine, and then at the end of I think this synopsis messed up. Let me know if I'm wrong, because I remember that night where I watched the second episode. It was like 8:32. And then, oh yeah, because Miranda was talking with Janine about how she is having these thoughts about wanting to get back with Calvin, and she wants what's fair. And then episode 7 and 8 is what we had last week. Yeah, okay, yeah, that's where I got mixed up. My bad. So yeah, I posted my thoughts on episode 5 because people were telling me, Jeremy, you gotta watch episode 5. It was so great. No, it wasn't. I watched it. It was not good at all. I mean, there were only 2 small, and this goes without saying about almost every episode of House of Pain. There were a couple of moments that were good, like Ella explaining to Jasmine why she doesn't serve but takes care of Curtis. He works and, takes care of me financially, but I take care of him at home. And then, Jasmine making it known that, hey, Auntie Ella, not to throw shade at how you do things, like, waiting until marriage for sex and whatnot, but that's not really how it's done nowadays. Let me show you what a DM is and whatnot. And as a person who's been 29 years celibate in terms of, well, basically my whole life, saving myself for marriage, yeah, I can definitely say that it is not how it was back in the day. I'm an old soul at heart, but at the same time, it's like the older I get, and not to mention lack of a love life, I'm like, is it really worth it? Not, that I'm just going to go out here and give away my virginity out of nowhere. But it's like one of those things where I think the older I get, the less likely my wife would not be a virgin. I remember growing, a few years ago, I was like, you know what? It doesn't have to be a prerequisite that my wife is a virgin. I want her to be Christian and a believer of God, but being a virgin is not a necessity. So it's one of those things where, yeah, people do seem to have fun. Like, I remember being on campus and seeing couples everywhere, and I'm just by myself and whatnot. So I love moments like that because I can reminisce and like, yeah, I get where Jasmine's coming from. And again, it shows that this show is a few years from season 8. The characters are older. They're talking about things. They're dealing with things that they weren't really dealing with in the previous series. And I appreciate that. However, that's where my praise of the episode stops, because I want to say that maybe 18 out of the 21 minutes of the show was useless banter where Curtis just kept popping in about how hungry he was and I'm going to cook on the grill and this and that. And that was a waste of time. Like, that's pretty much my feelings towards these episodes. And I think maybe I'll give episode 5 a 2 out of 10 because of the only 2 scenes I like: Ella breaking down the difference between serving and caring, and Jasmine explaining how things are different today for young people. Episode 6, Parenting 101, which again, I think these synopses are messed up. The big thing is, Calvin talking about how he doesn't like going to court. And then we have Miranda showing up and talking with Janine. I really don't have much to say because I feel like I've talked about this a lot in other videos, like, in the live stream and whatnot. I think that it could be summed up pretty quickly. And a lot of people have already said this in the comments or, their DM or tweets. But Miranda just wants Calvin back. Her talking about she wants what's fair. It's like she said, it isn't about the money. It's the fact that, she feels cheated because Calvin now is how Calvin was, basically the Calvin in the present is the Calvin that Miranda wanted to be married to, as opposed to the Calvin we saw back in the last few seasons of House of Payne when they actually were together. And on top of that, someone also said, and this is such a valid point because I relate to this, Miranda just wanted someone to agree with. It wasn't like she wanted to be heard by the other person, have them listen and then say what they're thinking. She just wanted the person listening to her vent agree with what she was saying. And I cannot agree more, because usually you want somebody close to you that you value their opinion. It's like you want them to blindly agree with you even when you're clearly in the wrong. And I can relate to that so well. That's something I kind of shifted in my life, I want to say around this time last year, to be honest. Like a couple friends I would kind of vent to about girls that would either friend zone me or reject me, or I feel like I was cheated. Not cheated on per se, because we were never in relationships, but you know what I mean, in terms of like emotionally cheated. And one of my friends, a close friend, is a girl, and me and her both kind of go back and forth our own problems. And I think it was like towards the end of the year, it was around the time I hit 100,000 subscribers. Then that deer jumped on the hood of my car, and then moving into early 2020 when Kobe died in a plane crash. So that's why I reevaluated, like, you know what, I can't be stuck in this. Basically, when you are just talking, you would rather vent your problem instead of listen to a solution. You'd rather sit in your own nonsense than pick yourself up, dust yourself off, and keep moving forward. It's not easy, but what good is it going around and round in circles, just talking about the same issue over and over again, while the other person that you're pining after or mad about, they're just moving on fine with their life without you? So that's what really changed in my life at the beginning of this year, the end of last year. And it's been good. Kind of lonely, but at the same time, I'm in a much better place now than I was back then. So with Miranda and how long they've been going through this divorce, I mean, one can only imagine how long it's been. But it goes to like what Janine, or I think Janine was the one that said this, or what? No, I think Janine hinted at this, and then Ella was the one who kind of picked up the baton to move forward with this in episode 7. But Miranda just talked to Calvin. I mean, it seems like that's a lot easier than constantly dragging him to court. So yeah, that's really the best thing that happened. And then Miranda leaves, and then we go over to Curtis and Ella's place, and Calvin isn't happy about going to court. And CJ said one of the funniest lines, like, yeah, the divorce is taking longer than the actual marriage, how long they were married. They spend more time on the divorce than actually being married together. And CJ brings up how Calvin didn't want anyone to be talking with Miranda. And again, I've already done a video about should the Paynes disown Miranda, so you can get my full thoughts there. So it makes sense. Some people are like, well, to an extent, yes, but also she is the mother of Curtis and Ella's grandchild, Christian, so she wouldn't be completely disowned. And then also on top of that, Janine and Miranda talking makes sense because she can relate to leaving the Payne family and then coming right back in. And now look at her. Now she's not saying Miranda and Calvin need to work it out, but she can relate. But also on top of that, you have Janine getting Ella to talk with Miranda, which at first I thought was a bit annoying, but now I think about it, Miranda did try to hear her out, but she even said that Miranda's just being very difficult right now and I can't do it on my own. So I did like the lead up to that, but at the same time, I feel like I get frustrated with scenes like this because I look at the clock and I notice, okay, Tyler is clearly going to stretch this out for like 3 to 5 minutes just so we can get to the end of the episode and pick it up next time. So with that being said, great seeing Miranda back, acting still on point. Like, again, the cast chemistry is still there. It's just the material is not that good. I'd give this episode about a 4 out of 10. Yeah. And that's all my thoughts are. Remember, episode 5, I give it 2 out of 10. Episode 6, I give it about a 4 out of 10. So let me know your thoughts on these episodes in the comment section below. The ratings, according to Wikipedia, episode 5 was a 0.77, which is the first lowest scored rated episode of the series. And then episode 6 got a 0.9, probably due to the return of Miranda. So with that being said, let me know your thoughts on episodes 5 and 6. And if you would like to donate to the channel, feel free to do so on PayPal, Cash App, or join Patreon for as little as $1 a month.